Welcome to Echo of Legends. Today I'm sharing 12 clever Stoic ways to deal with toxic people. Simple, powerful, and life-changing. 1. Control your reaction. One of the core principles of Stoicism is understanding what you can control and what you can't. When dealing with toxic people, your reaction is your biggest power. Toxic individuals often thrive on creating chaos, provoking others, and feeding off emotional outbursts. But the moment you react emotionally, you give them control over your peace. Stoicism teaches us that we are not disturbed by things, but by our perception of them. So when someone tries to manipulate, insult, or frustrate you, take a step back. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Often, silence or a calm response speaks louder than anger ever could. By controlling your reaction, you protect your inner peace. You show strength, maturity, and discipline. You make it clear that your emotions are not available for others to control. This doesn't mean you allow disrespect. It means you handle it with poise. Over time, this practice not only shields you from toxic behavior, but it also builds mental resilience. Remember, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Stay grounded. Stay centered. The power is always in your hands. Use it wisely. 2. Set clear boundaries. Setting boundaries is an essential part of self-respect, a value that Stoic philosophy deeply emphasizes. Toxic people often take advantage of those who don't speak up or who always say yes out of guilt or fear. But Stoics remind us that we have a responsibility to protect our time, energy, and mental well-being. When you say no to something that drains or disrespects you, you're actually saying yes to yourself. It doesn't make you rude or selfish, it makes you wise. Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines that define what is acceptable and what is not in your life. You don't have to explain or over-justify your decisions. A simple, firm no is enough. Whether it's refusing to be part of toxic conversations, avoiding drama, or distancing yourself from negative influences, setting clear boundaries helps you stay focused and emotionally healthy. Remember, you teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If someone crosses your boundaries repeatedly, it's okay to walk away. Stoicism is about living with dignity and intention. Protect your peace like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. 3. Emotions calm down in silence. We all have moments when we feel angry, frustrated, or hurt. It's a normal part of being human, but what we do in those moments, how we react, can either make things better or worse. That's where silence comes in. When emotions are high, it's easy to say or do something we don't really mean. Maybe we snap at someone, send an angry message, or make a quick decision that we later regret. These reactions feel good in the moment, but they usually create more problems than they solve. Silence is the pause button our emotions need. It's like stepping away from a fire before it burns you. When you choose to stay quiet instead of reacting instantly, you give your mind space to cool down. Your heart stops racing, your thoughts become clearer, and your emotions lose their grip on you. Think about how often we hear the advice, count to 10 before you respond. That's not just a saying, it's a powerful tool. That short silence can save relationships, protect your reputation, and keep you from making mistakes you can't take back. In Stoic philosophy, emotions are seen as something to be managed, not followed blindly. The Stoics believed that silence helps us become masters of our emotions instead of slaves to them. When you pause and stay quiet during an emotional moment, you're not holding back, you're taking control. Also, silence helps avoid escalation. In an argument, when one person raises their voice, the other often does too. But when you respond with calm and silence, the energy drops. You stop the cycle. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to not let your emotions run the show. Another benefit of silence is self-awareness. When you stay quiet, you can actually hear what's going on inside you. You can ask yourself, why am I so upset? Is this really worth it? What's the best response? This kind of thinking leads to smarter actions and better outcomes. Over time, practicing silence during emotional moments builds emotional intelligence. You get better at recognizing your triggers, controlling your reactions, and responding with intention instead of impulse. That's a skill that helps in every area of life, from relationships to leadership. So next time you feel emotions boiling over, pause, don't react, stay silent, even if it's just for a few seconds. That silence is where clarity begins, it's where peace lives, and it's often where your best decisions are made. To sum it up, silence is not about bottling up your emotions, it's about giving them space to settle. It helps you avoid regrets, stay in control, and choose responses that align with who you truly are. In emotional storms, silence is your shelter. 4. Focus on what you can control. One of the most powerful lessons from Stoic philosopher Epictetus is this: focus only on what you can control. When dealing with toxic people, it's tempting to try and change them, to make them kinder, more respectful, or more understanding. But the truth is, you can't. You have zero control over their thoughts, words, or actions. What you do have control over is how you respond, what you tolerate, and how you let things affect you internally. Your mindset, your choices, and your attitude are fully within your hands. The Stoics believed that peace comes when we stop wasting energy on things beyond our control. If someone insults you, lies about you, or acts in a hurtful way, don't waste time trying to fix them. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do right now to protect my peace and stay true to my values? Maybe it means walking away, staying silent, or shifting your focus elsewhere. The more you focus on your own thoughts and actions, the less power toxic people have over your life. Control your world from the inside out. That's where real strength lies. 5. Don't argue pointlessly. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, believed in conserving energy and avoiding unnecessary conflict. He understood that not every disagreement needs a response, and that some arguments are simply traps to drain your peace and pull you into chaos. Toxic people often bait others into arguments, not to solve problems, but to create more drama. They twist words, shift blame, and push emotional buttons. Engaging in these kinds of arguments is like fighting fire with fire. No one wins, and both sides end up burned. Stoicism teaches that silence is sometimes the strongest response. If an argument is going nowhere, or if the other person is clearly not interested in understanding or resolution, it's perfectly okay to step back. You don't have to prove your point to everyone. Walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Before you engage, ask yourself, will this conversation lead to growth or just more noise? If it's just noise, protect your energy and let it go. Your peace is more valuable than being right in a pointless argument. Stay calm, stay grounded, and let your silence speak louder than their chaos. 6. Lead by example. Stoicism teaches that our actions speak louder than words. When dealing with toxic people, it's easy to get pulled into their negativity, but the most powerful way to influence others and maintain your peace is by leading with your own behavior, rather than engaging in conflict. Be the calm in the storm. Toxic people often try to provoke reactions, but if you remain composed, respectful, and steady, you send a powerful message that negativity won't affect you. Your calmness, kindness, and rationality can set a standard for others, even if they don't immediately show it. Leading by example is more effective than giving advice or having long conversations. When people see you handling challenges with grace, it might inspire them to act the same way. Often, people learn not from what we say, but from what we do. It's easy to get lost in the chaos of others' behavior, but Stoics understand that true strength lies in controlling your own reactions. By leading with integrity and calmness, you show others how to act. Even in toxic environments, your behavior can create a ripple effect, shifting the energy around you without you saying a word. 7. Limit time and energy. One of the most important Stoic lessons is the idea of guarding your inner peace. Toxic people have a unique ability to drain your energy, whether through their negativity, constant drama, or emotional manipulation. The Stoics understood that time and energy are limited resources, and how you choose to spend them determines your well-being. When dealing with toxic individuals, it's crucial to recognize the impact they have on you. If you find yourself constantly feeling drained or upset after interactions with someone, it's a clear sign that you need to limit your exposure. You can't afford to waste time and emotional energy on people who don't respect you or add value to your life. Setting boundaries is key here. Protecting your peace means consciously choosing who you spend time with and how much energy you invest. The more time you spend with toxic individuals, the more you allow their negativity to seep into your own life. Remember, your well-being is your responsibility. Stoicism teaches us that we have control over our energy. Don't let others take it from you. Choose to be around people who uplift, support, and inspire you, those who contribute positively to your life. 8. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as something we do for others, but in Stoicism, it's more about what we do for ourselves. When dealing with toxic people, holding on to resentment and anger can do more harm to you than to the person you're upset with. Resentment clouds your judgment, drains your energy, and keeps you mentally tied to negativity. The Stoics believed in letting go of negative emotions, not for the sake of the person who wronged you, but for your own peace of mind. When you forgive, you free yourself from the emotional burden that toxic people impose on you. Holding grudges only keeps you tethered to the past, preventing you from moving forward and finding mental clarity. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or allowing people to continue treating you poorly. It means releasing the emotional weight of anger and hurt. By doing so, you protect your mental space and allow yourself to heal. Stoicism teaches that you can't control what others do, but you can control how you respond. Letting go of resentment is one of the most powerful ways to regain control of your emotions and protect your inner peace. 9. Use discomfort as growth. In Stoic philosophy, adversity is not something to avoid, but something to embrace. Stoics see hardship as a form of training, an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. When dealing with toxic people, you'll often find yourself facing discomfort, frustration, or emotional turmoil. Rather than seeing these interactions as negative experiences, view them as chances for personal development. Every toxic person or difficult situation presents an opportunity to practice patience, resilience, and emotional control. When you're provoked or manipulated, instead of reacting impulsively, you can choose to respond thoughtfully. This not only builds your mental strength but also sharpens your ability to handle future challenges with more ease. Stoicism teaches that we are in control of how we perceive the world. Instead of being a victim of the situation, take a step back and ask, what can I learn from this? Even in the toughest moments, there is wisdom to be gained. Each challenging interaction is a chance to strengthen your character and grow emotionally and mentally. By reframing discomfort as an opportunity for growth, you can shift your mindset from being reactive to proactive. Use these moments as stepping stones toward becoming a stronger, wiser version of yourself. 10. Detach from their drama. One of the core principles of Stoicism is learning to observe life without becoming entangled in it. When dealing with toxic people, their constant chaos, drama, and negativity can easily pull you in. The key is to detach from their emotional turbulence and protect your own peace. Toxic people often thrive on drama. They create conflict, stir emotions, and look for reactions. If you allow their chaos to become your reality, you lose control over your own peace and happiness. Stoicism teaches that you are not obligated to participate in every emotional battle others try to draw you into. The practice of detachment involves keeping emotional distance. You can observe their actions without absorbing their energy. By doing this, you maintain control over your own emotional state, and don't let their problems become your problems. It doesn't mean you don't care, but you recognize that you can only control your response, not their behavior. By detaching from their drama, you preserve your clarity and focus. You're able to stay grounded, unaffected by their ups and downs. This emotional distance helps you act thoughtfully, without being swept away by the waves of someone else's chaos. 11. Reflect before reacting. In a world where emotions often lead the way, Stoicism teaches the importance of pausing and reflecting before reacting. When you face negativity or provocation from toxic people, it's easy to react impulsively, whether through anger, frustration, or a sharp comment. But Stoicism encourages us to slow down our minds and make more thoughtful decisions. Instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to pause. This pause gives you the space to reflect on the situation, your feelings, and the most effective way to respond. Journaling is a powerful tool here, allowing you to process your thoughts and emotions before you act. It helps you clarify what's really bothering you and gives you perspective on how best to handle the situation. By reflecting before reacting, you prevent yourself from falling into the trap of emotional outbursts or impulsive decisions. It allows you to respond with calmness, wisdom, and control. You regain ownership of your emotional state and avoid being swept away by the negativity around you. When you take that brief moment to reflect, you ensure that your reactions align with your values and not with the emotions toxic people are trying to provoke. 12. Remember, it's not about you. One of the most liberating Stoic lessons is recognizing that toxic people's behavior is a reflection of their own inner world, not yours. When someone projects negativity, criticism, or hurtful behavior, it can feel deeply personal. You might think that they're attacking you or judging you. But the truth is, their actions often have nothing to do with you at all. Toxic people frequently project their own unresolved pain, insecurities, or frustrations onto others. When they lash out, it's not a reflection of your worth, but rather an expression of their internal struggles. Stoicism teaches us not to internalize their negativity because it's not our burden to carry. By remembering that their actions reflect them and not you, you free yourself from taking things personally. It allows you to maintain emotional distance and focus on your own peace. Rather than getting caught up in their drama, recognize that their behavior is a sign of their own issues and not a judgment of you. When you stop taking their actions personally, You empower yourself to stay calm, detached, and focused on what truly matters, your own emotional well-being. Thank you for watching. Remember, dealing with toxic people is all about protecting your peace and focusing on what you can control. Stay grounded, lead with calmness, and never let anyone take away your inner harmony. For more tips, don't forget to like, comment, and follow. See you in the next one.